Hello my friends, welcome to a short demonstration video on how to do downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, in a way that's really good for your body, in a way that feels good and unique to you, so that you can do downward facing dog until the end of your days without any injuries, and know with confidence that you're in the pose in the correct alignment for your body. Let's get into it. So to begin with, you can have your legs tucked underneath you. This seated posture is a preparatory to go into downward facing dog. You can have your knees slightly apart, hip width apart. And then we're going to come into all fours. So you're just rocking forward from that kneeling position. As you're on all fours, to begin with, make sure that your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Your fingers are spread nice and wide. The thumbs, the knuckles, and the pads of the fingers are all pressing down into the mat. And then the shin bones are pressing down into the floor, as well as the tops of the toes spread and pressing down. This is going to activate through the abdominals first and foremost. Now put one paw print forward with your hands. So shift your hands one paw print forward. Tuck your toes under and lean your butt back towards your heels, keeping your hands exactly where they are, and hold here. If this feels uncomfortable for your knees, then you may not be able to go as far back. But the intention here is to really start to feel a stretch into your arms. So you're pushing back from the palms of your hands, your gaze is in between your hands, your fingers are spread nice and wide, and start to notice now what happens to your arms. Are the elbow creases facing one another? Is there an opportunity here to rotate the elbow creases in and up, and notice what that does to the scapula, the back body, the shoulder blades? As you're pressing into your heels with your butt, the toes are now tucked under and you're stretching through your feet. Keep this tension. You're pressing back, feet stretched. Keep pressing into your hands. And then keeping your butt where it is, just start to lift your knees slightly off the floor, engaging through the abdominals like you did on all fours. Keep your weight pressing back into the heels. Without moving your weight forward, extend the legs as far as feels good for you. To begin with, you may have them rather bent, the belly resting on the thighs, but the arms throughout that whole transition from the ground all the way to the butt lifting up to the sky, your arms are straight. Try that a couple of times. Bending through the knees, bringing your knees back to the mat, and then pressing into the tops of the feet. Arms are straight, butt lifts, knees are bent, belly on thigh. Relax your head, yes and no. One deep breath. Keep your arms where they are, straight, long, lengthened and strong. And then slowly start to extend the legs, but keep your butt where it is. So the intention here is that we keep the length through the spine without compromising the spine at all. Quite often what happens is through downward facing dog, we start to shift our weight forward and back in order to get into the pose. And this compromises a lengthened spine for lengthened legs. I want you to imagine that there's a long spine, and if there needs to be a bend in the knees, then so be it. We don't compromise the length in the spine for length in the legs. Now, this is a very strong posture. The minute you start to straighten through the legs, you start to feel a little bit of ease in the pose, simply because the weight of the body is not in the thighs. Even though you're pressing your body back through the arms, there's not much weight in the arms. Your legs are taking the brunt of the work here. And you can straighten the legs as much as feels good for you. Maybe it's a relaxed straight. Maybe your legs are completely straight. it doesn't really matter. The intention here, as I've said, is a long spine. And then to come out, your arms and back stay nice and long. Bend the knees and drop the knees to the ground. Your butt is now automatically on the heels. And then you can come back up onto all fours, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders, and then untuck the toes and sit back onto the heels. And so this may be a very different expression of downward facing dog than you're used to. What's quite noticeable is that there's no shifting back and forth. So I'm going to show you a way that you perhaps have tried before that I encourage not to do. And that is going back, going forward, and then going back. You see it's all in the shoulders. Whereas for this particular down dog, I want you to stay back and press into the hands and lift the butt up without rocking forward and back. Now, downward dog is an inversion, which means that the head is below the hips, below the heart. And this is a really great posture to do, even if you only have 5 minutes of a morning practice. A couple of downward facing dogs, breathing deeply in through your Ujjayi breath will really help to invigorate the mind, the brain, the face, and will bring fresh oxygenated blood to the skin of your face, which will have you feeling and looking good. So with that being said, I hope that you enjoyed this short demonstration. And if you have any questions or comments or anything you'd like to know about Adho Mukha Svanasana, please leave them in the comments or feel free to reach out to me direct. All right, my friends, thanks for being here. Bye for now.